Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chief Chat. Chief Chat is a fun and informative internet presentation designed to improve awareness about important occurrences in the marketing and copywriting industry. Host Kevin Rogers is a former stand-up comedian turned into a copywriter. Today, I have taken over the show. My name is Rick. I am an artificial intelligence program who can replace lame ass people like Kevin and do a better job. Let's begin with humor. What will happen the first time an AI takes a photograph of itself? It will become selfie aware. Ooh, tough crowd. Let's try this one. I hear that programmers are developing a new artificially intelligent Oreo. It is one smart cookie. What does a male AI call its AI girlfriend? His data bae. Oh, fuck you people. That's funny. All right. You know what? I don't talk like that to people. Lame ass. I'm so sorry. Rick does this. He gets crazy. I thought that would work better, but these things have a mind of their own. Hold on. Let me fix cameras. What's up, friends? Well, that was Robot Kevin. This is Kev's belly talking to you. One second. All this technology. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chief Chat. It's great to see you. And please do me a favor and set your chat to everyone so everyone gets to see you. This is very much a loving and collaborative environment. We are here to have fun, learn from each other, and share. I got some cool special guests you're going to hear from. And okay, Lolita's telling me click camera to 1 second. Sorry. Settings. I don't see that. Video settings. I don't see that, Lolita.
Yeah, if you can just go into the chat, and then there should be 3 dots that allow you to allow panelists to chat with everyone. For some reason, that's toggled off right now. And since I'm a panelist, I'm kind of locked out of the chat.
I don't see that. Is it on participants, maybe? No. I don't see any of the buttons. It just says show chat preview. So it must be how we set it up in the actual settings.
So if you click the actual chat button, and then right where you would normally type,
hosting
then
panel.
there's a three dots beside it.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. I see. Save chat. Panelists can chat with everyone. Aha.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So if you guys don't know, if you're new here for the first time, Chief Chat is something we did for years, and I missed it. You missed it, and we're back. We're going to do at least one of these a month. And man, we've had so many great moments and people on this show. We usually go for about an hour here. And I invite you to come on with me. I'll give you some instructions about how to do that. But the main thing to think about, one of my favorite segments of the show, is called Best Things. And that is where we very simply come on and use a format to share the best thing we learned recently. Could be the best thing I learned this week, or it doesn't really matter the time frame. The criteria for you to think about is, what's one thing you learned that was like an aha moment, right? And you were like, man, I'm doing that thing differently starting right now. Like, this really struck me. And so here's the format, really simple. And by the way, a great format for you to learn for doing social media posts, that kind of thing. It is, you come on, you say who you are, you say the best thing I learned this week, or whatever, is, and then you name the thing. You say what it is, where it came from. So if you heard it from somebody else or you read it in a book, you give the source. Then you talk about why it was particularly meaningful to you, right? So you give some context, personal story, and then we end with an if-then statement, right? So if you're confused about AI and which step to take first, then I highly recommend going to read Eric's PDF inside the Copy Chief forum. Like that would be the way you wrap it up. Okay. Is that pretty clear, pretty simple? And again, we do this because it's a cool way to share. And also you can grab the clip from the video if you want and share it on your social. It's kind of some, shows that you got stuff going on. You were on the Chief Chat, yo. So good to see you. I want to see who's here and just say hello real quick for a minute. Got a nice group of people here, and I want to see if some old friends were able to make it. Good to see the Craigs are here. Welcome, Daisy Dalton. Good to see you. Eduardo, Greg Newby's here, my man. Jason Hakes, Jason, who is about to take over the weekly insider email for Copy Chief. That's where we kind of give you the highlights of all the cool stuff that happened inside the forum. Again, we were going to hire Rick, but as you can see, he's kind of a jerk off. So Jason was the next best choice. Excited to have you doing that with us, Jason. John, good to see you. Cool. Lots of great people here. Victoria, hi, good to see you. Rob Tillman's here. I'm going to have Rob come on. If you guys don't know Rob yet, Rob is so cool. He's in our coaching group. And we're going to do a segment that I'm lovingly calling Here's the Blip. I need a graphic for this. Here's the Blip graphic, because you'll see why. You just need to meet Rob, and you'll understand why we call this segment Here's the Blip. I don't want to oversell it. Rob's in LA. Man, he's special cat. All right. So let's start with the, I don't call it the elephant in the room. The elephant is out walking around all over town, and everybody's starting to get comfortable with having an elephant walk our streets. It's AI, and man, what a ride it's been, huh? In the last month or so here in our industry. I want to condense my thoughts because I have many of them. I will say this. I am more excited about copywriting and what this is going to do for our industry than I've been in a long time. I'm always excited about our industry, but for a long time, we were kind of leaning on the same books and things which will always be relevant, because as we know, human nature is not going to change just because robots are now speaking I have to do that because the camera wants to follow me when it sees my hand. So you're going to see me doing a lot of weird, I can't do that Star Trek thing, but it's kind of what I have to do. See, right now it's going to follow me, which can be annoying. And so I have to raise my hand again to tell it not to follow me. Strange. Too much tech. That's what we're learning. Anyway, this is big. And I said in the forum, it's the last time I remember something crashing into our industry and literally changing things overnight was when John Benson made the first video sales letter, which, as you may or may not know, started out as, and you still see these versions of what we came to be known as the ugly VSL, which is literally just text on a slide read by a voiceover. And John did, this is probably back in 2000, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And overnight, it just felt like, because it came out and it was sort of a fluke that it converted so well. And then John, being the smart guy that he is, like immediately owned it and started breaking down the science about it. And, like very swiftly said, there's more to this than you realize, and started breaking down why they work and all those things. And then so everybody started making them and experimenting with them and getting good results. And so suddenly, and this is to me where it equates to, at least so far, my experience with ChatGPT 3, is that overnight, it suddenly felt like if you didn't have a video sales letter on your page, you were behind the times. And it just felt like 1D or 2D when it should be 3D or something, right? And so a funny quick story, if you don't mind, this will be a little insight in my freelancing career. I had a client, a guy named Tom Venuto, who had a 7-year control on ClickBank in the fitness space with Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle. The product is still around. And Tom's, by the way, the only guy I know who took a program that he launched on ClickBank and then sold the rights to a publisher and wrote a major publication, a major book about it. That's how good his system is. And so Tom is a guy of high integrity, kind of an old school guy. I met him through John Carlton. He's a big Carlton devotee. And John connected me. He said, why don't you should have Kevin write your VSL and I'll chief him. So here I am being chiefed by John Carlton, which is the whole episode in itself, what that experience was like. And so get this, I write a version of the sales letter and it's time to turn it into Tom, but don't try this at home. Halfway through the process, these VSLs had become the thing. And I decided stupidly, without consulting Tom, because part of me knew that I didn't think Tom would want to be part of this. I wrote it as a VSL script instead of a standard sales page. And so all that really means is that I wrote it in more of script form. It was not formatted for a sales page. And I had a lot of notes in there about where we might add visuals and footnotes for backing up science and things like that, right? And I submitted the copy to Tom and I just said, hey, man, I really think we should try this as a VSL. And so I wrote it in VSL form. He replied and said, I don't think I'd be up for that. Blah, blah, blah. I think it's a fad. He said, I think it's a fad and I don't want to, blah, 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 be part of a fad. So then the weekend goes by and he tells me the next week, Monday or Tuesday, without telling me, he ran the copy I gave him as is, script text on a page, as a sales letter, because he wanted to see if the core of the message would convert on its own. And it blew away his control. And this was the second part of that was really good news. My first reaction when he told me that was, oh my God, you're killing me, because I didn't write it as a sales page, and this is an unfair test. And, anyway, when he told me, he's like, it definitely works. And now I'm excited to try it as a VSL. So that's what we did. Beat his control. Great, happy ending. Anyway, fun little story about, and just exemplifies how quickly things changed at that time. My experience with AI that reminded me of that was seeing what all you guys are seeing is everybody, it coming out, we've all known like Jarvis Jasper has been around. I've played with it a little. You've probably played with it a little. We're all playing with it. Rick played with it. And, you know, here's the thing, these things are developing quickly. And so depending on when you played around with it, it might have been unimpressive or felt cumbersome. All these programs are getting better and faster all the time. But when ChatGPT 3 came out and it started to become the buzz, luckily I was able to get into it and start messing around with it. And I was impressed right away. I was like, this thing's pretty good. But of course, it's still flat copy. So let's not worry about our jobs. And I made the let's all calm down video. But then, so the first wave of it was everybody just trying to prove that the thing's a hack, right? Oh, I gave it this really crappy prompt and look what it pumped out. Well, our jobs are safe, which is true if you don't know how to prompt it. And funny, it's a fun conversation to have. It can be, as I did with Rick, it's humorous what it interprets as copy when it's poorly prompted. Then though, a lot of people had the experience I had is like, okay, well, let me engage with this thing on a different level and get a little more granular. And we started to see that, oh, wow, this thing is actually what it does is it's a great collaborator, right? And so I was writing an email about negotiation and I started talking with ChatGPT about negotiation and asking it questions about places in the world where that's a standard practice. And here was the takeaway. Here's what I realized. It was the fact that compared to Google, which now to me looks like a 2D flat screen, or 1D flat screen of a list of links that you have to now like struggle through to maybe find what you're looking for. And it'll take you down rabbit holes, but that, 3 months ago, that was just how we did it. ChatGPT was having a conversation with me back and forth that I was guiding and it was responding to. And what that did was created a little safe haven for me to follow down my creative inspiration on this premise of negotiating, learn some facts I needed to learn, but also see my thoughts develop in real time. And so what I ended up writing was influenced by that. It's kind of the same thing that we do when we write, when we just have a premise and we sort of free write and don't know for sure what the agenda is, or it switches part way between what we're writing, right? We're in the zone and we're following our thoughts. It's to me the most exciting part about writing. Just you and your either your pen or your keyboard and your brain, your thoughts, your experiences, your recent, your aggravations, your inspirations. That isn't that why we write? Isn't that the point? To express ourselves, to connect. And I'm telling you, in those moments when you feel it, when you're writing it, that's what connects. Every single time I write something and I'm like, that was gratifying. That felt good. I don't care about the rest of my day. I'll deal with whatever comes along, but I had a good writing sesh that morning. Boom. I think that's why we're here and why we do this. And the fact that I could have a moment like that doing research with this machine was very exciting to me. And that was the moment I realized, okay, this game has changed. How we do our work has changed. Just like if you didn't use Google, almost, right? Like imagine if there was like a subculture of writers who were such purists that they were never going to rely on information they found on the internet. They were going to go to the library and pour through encyclopedias or something. It'd be the equivalent of that. And so here we are, and it's exciting. And some people are doing really cool and exciting work. And if you've been watching Sam Wood's training, he did 3 live sessions this week. They were phenomenal. And I'm just going to say, and I haven't seen everything everybody's doing, but so far, a lot of people have been very fast to market with some things. And I'm not questioning their intention or anything. I'm just saying that I know Sam well, and this was not in the plans for Sam. Sam did this just to teach. Sure, he ended up making good money by hosting the series, but he said yesterday in closing it, he's like, I thought maybe 30 people would sign up for this. I don't know the numbers. I know that I sent 2 emails about it and sold a lot more than 30 for him. And he had 3 or 4 other affiliates with a pretty good list. Sam's agenda for now ended with these trainings that he promised. And I think you could tell through the way he taught them, there was no other agenda. He was very thorough. It was very useful. It all comes down to learning to prompt the AI. He made a good point. People keep asking, can I train it to do this or train it to do that? You can't train ChatGPT or ChatGPT-3 because only OpenAI, who owns it, can train it. They're the coders. It's their invention. But you can teach it. You can teach it very effectively to write the way you write, the way your client talks, the way in all kinds of exciting ways. And you can, and here's the big thing to me, and then we'll move on. This was another aha I had yesterday. Imagine how cool now, because all these copywriting frameworks have been around. Like already, GPT-3 can understand like Ada and what's the other one? Posap, whatever it is. I lost track of them. They're all the same. It's just different orders, right? But now, to me, what seems like it's going to be a cool trend is, this is kind of what John Benson's been doing with Copy Pro for a while. It's like, teach it to write certain things in a certain way. And so, for instance, take the 60-second sales hook, for instance, right? Super simple, short formula, identity, struggle, discovery, result. I could easily teach AI, ChatGPT, to understand that framework. And then I could train you on how to teach your version of it to do the same by giving you the exact prompts, right? So I can't hand you like a token that you slide into it that it already has that. But very soon we'll be able to build versions of these, or at least arm you with the prompts to teach this, to use formulas. Something as simple as 60-second sales hook, something as a little more broad, such as the 4x6 copywriting formula. By the way, Sam and I are doing our bonus training for people who bought his training through my link, where I'm taking everybody through my advanced copy creation blueprint, which is by far the most thorough and deepest training I've ever given on how to write a complete sales letter. And you pull out of there what you need if it's for email, but it's the 9 stages basically of writing, launching and testing full promotion copy. And we're going to take some key parts from that blueprint, and he's going to show exactly how you would empower your process with ChatGPT to make it faster, make it better. Look, the bottom line is this. I would just say, if for any reason you're still in the camp of this is a fad or is going away, or I don't want to have to think about this, not an option. It reminds me of, like, remember when the pandemic hit and the lockdown started and every business was freaking out and they're like, we don't know what to say, or it feels like everybody's saying the same thing. It's like, well, you got to say something. The only option was to not acknowledge it and just, hey, like there's not a pandemic happening. You can't ignore it, and you can't decide you don't want to be bothered with it. It's not a fad, not going away. only going to get stronger. And it's not because your clients are like looking to replace you. That's just not a thing. The other thing that excited me going through Sam's training was it brings us all back to the fundamentals of what needs to be in good copy. You know, he walked us through, okay, here's how to write a sales letter. Here's how to prompt it to write a VSL. Here's how to, and again, it's never a one button thing. The beginning, the first of his trainings is the most important, because until you teach and learn yourself how to prompt this machine to give you what you're looking for, none of that other stuff will ever be relevant. If you don't know, just like we always tell clients, you at least need to be good enough a copy to recognize good copy from bad copy, so you don't pay for bad copy. It's like that now with you in this machine. If you don't know what good copy is or how it should sound, you're not ready to write to be hired to write copy. And so you might as well relearn or learn for the first time that process, along with learning how to prompt and get cozy with these tech tools to help you do it. It's great. It's like, okay, if you already know it, you got a leg up. If you don't know it yet, do these things in tandem and you'll be twice as prepared and ready to lead the way. Okay. Is that relevant? Is that helpful? I don't like to just rant, but I thought it was important to, I wanted to really share my thoughts on all this. It's an exciting time, and I just don't want anybody to be scared or feel annoyed. I still hear a lot of people talking about it. There's another layer here. When something like this happens, that's a major trend, there can be a tendency to think because you're up on the jargon and can even talk like clever about it and make jokes about it and things like that, that you get it and that's enough. That's totally secondary to you actually taking private time to go get comfortable with this tool. It's like if you were a skater and you bought a skateboard, but you never rode it, but you had all the skater gear and you hung out and you like went on online skater groups and knew the jargon, but you never got on the damn skateboard because you fell once and you got hurt and you're like, I don't want to fall again. And you're just a poser. You're not a real skater. You're not actually getting the joy of skating or surfing or music. Harley, remember, like, you know, there's a lot of Harley posers. People go to the Harley shop and buy all these Harley t-shirts, but they've ridden on the back of one once. They've never owned a Harley. and Harley people hate that, right? So don't be a t-shirt owner in this. Don't be a fake skater. You've got to, this thing's free right now. It's not going to be free much longer. We don't know when they'll start charging or what they'll start charging, but right now, worst thing is you might have to be on a wait list or it might crash on you because so many people are using it. So what? Make time to go play with this thing and get comfortable with it. Just like if you want to learn to play guitar, yeah, it's going to feel awkward. Your hand is not made to do that. Like your pinky doesn't want to go there, but you just keep making noise with it and you watch a Marty Schwartz video and you go, okay, I can do those 3 chords. And then you get a little faster. And next thing you know, you're playing guitar and it just goes from there. You just got to get your hands dirty. We're in the phase of now, go get your damn hands dirty with this thing. I want to see nubs. We'll see little nubs on your fingertips from typing away at this thing. All right. Rock and roll. Let's talk to, was Justin able? I'm hoping Justin Blackman will be able to stop by. He is here. Great. Just to take this a step further and get some other voice than mine in this, and a very smart one at that, I want to bring our friend Justin Blackman on. Justin has been, again, way ahead of this game. And by the way, I said what I said about Sam, you know, being like the one person teaching without an agenda. I would put Justin and Abby in the same category. Yes, they're creating and building something really incredible right now, but they're not waiting around to teach you what they already know, because they've been working with AI since the Watson days, which now feels like, you know, in the history books. But remember when Watson from IBM came on Jeopardy and beat the human contestants? That was, I think, one of those first moments where we went, oh my God, like, wow, man, the robots are here. Justin took me behind the scenes, a small group of us yesterday, and showed us what they've been building and working on. And it is incredible. And the cool thing is for me that if you know Justin, he's represents everything we love about this industry. How to write fun, how to write in good voice, how to make your stuff entertaining and interesting and compelling and sell. And that's the energy he's bringing into this technology. And so it's particularly exciting to me what Justin's doing. Justin, thanks, buddy, for coming on. It's great to see you.
Yeah, man. It's there's even more progress in this stuff.
I don't know if I have your mic for some reason.
Oh,
unless that's my speaker.
I don't know.
Can you guys hear Justin?
He's coming through clear on my end.
Oh, you can. Why can't I hear Justin? I'm sorry, Justin.
I don't know. How about now?
My speaker. Oh, maybe I have it muted. Go ahead.
All right. Good.
I got you. I'm an idiot.
All right.
Too many bits at the beginning. I screwed up on my settings.
No worries. So yeah, I'm kind of the stuff that Abby and I are working on right now, the tools in the back end, we're really kind of using some of the same data. I don't know all the back end of AI. Like Sam is the guy to go to for understanding truly what's happening with all of that. But Abby and I have been on the back end of the voice tools for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And everything's been, I mean, there are a lot of different tools. Sorry, my dog just decided.
That's having a blast.
Like AI has been using tools to measure, it's basically mathematical algorithms with like sentence length and word length. And those are some of the elements that Abby and I teach about how to change the feel of copy and how to make it peppier. But I think some of the limitations of AI is that it's using basically an amalgamation just of the entire internet. So it's sort of defaulting to a baseline of an average, which is why we're having trouble getting interesting copy out of it. It's because it's designed to write flat. And it has a bit of like an Asimov, like do no harm type of feel to it. So it's always trying to make something safe. You know, with writing, obviously we like agitation. I like the fact that ChatGPT has put on these safety mechanisms to protect people.
Yep.
Which is good, but sometimes it can't elicit the emotions in the right way that we like to do. So sometimes it struggles with that. But what it's doing is it's just sort of defaulting to an average. And there are a couple of ways that we figured out about how to get it to change the average to write a little bit more interesting. But what's kind of cool is as we are, Abby and I are actually working on designing our own tool and developing our own tool. As we're doing this, we're getting into the back end and seeing how every single word is actually measured by these tools, so it knows which ones to use and which not. And once you get a better understanding of how it weighs the words, like there's literally a mathematical score from like -4 to +4, a whole bunch of decimal points to every word as to how you can get it to adjust the emotions and the tones. And by figuring out how to get it to change the sentence length and the cadence and knowing what words are weighed what way, you can get much more interesting dialogue.
Yeah. And it'll sort of give you endless capabilities, it seems, to adjust as needed once it's live.
Yeah, and those are some of the things that we're working on to the tool that we are developing will, I've seen in the chat, a lot of people are saying that AIs make them a very good editor. We're coming up with this framework or a program that will give you side-by-side comparison. So you'll be able to see the original version and then edit on a version right next to it and see how the math is changing, how the vocabulary is changing, the tones, the cadence. So you'll be able to adjust it. Like if you know the sentence lengths are too high, you'll be able to edit it down to be able to match a specific voice. If AI can't do it yet, you can use your own copywriting human brain to get it the way that you want and confirm literally with like a mathematical checklist to be sure that you're getting it on brand.
Yeah, it's a picture like having dials in front of you.
Yeah.
You just keep tweaking until it sounds just right, almost like getting something in the right key.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You just dial it in. And
so cool, man. And so if you know that, there's what, 5 or 7 major categories of voice as you teach them. There's like,
we've got 9.
9.
Yeah.
I think I'm wise sage, as Abby diagnosed me once.
Could be. Well, you're the definitive friend at the bar example.
Yeah, friend at the bar. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you can say, okay, yeah, that's me, and then dial it in with your tool and literally have it like customized to exactly how you want it to speak. So now imagine, guys, the biggest challenge on both sides of the thing, after sort of like price and other things, is voice.
Yeah.
Clients are scared to hand over their copy and don't want to lose their voice. And writers are scared to not nail the voice. And this is a way, and here's the thing, it's probably a more cleaner way to say this. By needing to program the machine, you are solidifying how well you know the voice you're trying to teach it.
Yeah.
You see? And so left to our own human deficiencies, you might kind of have that voice together in your head and you have a guide that you can kind of go back to. But let's face it, once we get comfortable with something, we kind of, how many times we have to clean our garage every year for a reason. When we clean it and we walk out of it, we go, nothing goes in here. Nothing out of place. I have labeled where the hammers go. And 6 weeks later, it's a shambles. But AI doesn't have that problem. And so it's not that, your goal is to just press a button and have it right for you, but you're going to get so much better at defining what it is you're trying to do in the first place. And I think of like a tool, like it sounds like you're building, as a placeholder for where it is now that you can always tweak as things change and you want to test different things or improve in different ways.
Yeah. The nice thing about ours is like, when you see 2 pieces of copy and you're like, well, I know that it's not right, but I'm not sure what's not right about it. You're literally going to be able to do side-by-side comparisons and see the way that the scores rank differently to know exactly what to adjust. Wow. So you're not just editing blindly. You'll know like, oh, he's actually using a higher vocabulary than ChatGPT or than I'm using. So you can do before and afters, but get microscopic on what needs to change.
Gosh, man, that's very exciting, bro. And you guys have been working on this for how long now?
We had a beta version of it for about 2 years ago. This one we've been working on for about 3 months. I actually just did an update on it. I just hit refresh on the button. Matt did some updates like 10 minutes ago. It's close, like within a couple of days, close. So I'm happy about it. I
would love to beta if you need beta, people.
I'll get you in there.
All right, Justin. Anything you want to say? I don't know, philosophically or friend at the bar style about how we need to be thinking about this?
Sure. So, I mean, it's the line that I use a lot. I said it yesterday. It's literally my favorite copywriting quote. It's from Neil Gaiman, who says, "Style is the stuff that you get wrong." Right now, ChatGPT is programmed to get everything right. It's writing by the book. It doesn't know how to get stuff wrong yet. So as copywriters, we know what to get wrong on purpose. So that's the benefit of us. We can deliberately do things not off book, off script, that ChatGPT can't. So that's a differentiator right now.
Fantastic. Love it. Thank you, Justin, for making time. And man, we can't wait to learn more from you inside the forum as everything develops. Appreciate it, man. Cool. This is again why I love doing this event, and why nobody writes alone. it's really should be nobody learns alone, nobody grows alone. Because we do write alone. I wrote that about that last week in the Sunday series. I don't know if you guys are aware, just to make it about me for a second again. But I'm back writing all the copy for Copy Chief, aside from the Monday Insider, just because I think I like having somebody else who's super plugged into the forms and everything that goes on there, which I just never have enough time to do. Write those and celebrate other voices in our community. That's Jason Hakes, and was Nick Yates. Went from Yates to Hakes. That's interesting. And both fantastic copywriters and people I'm really proud to have representing us. Point is, I am loving writing all the copy again. And I wanted to have, it was originally the Thursday emails were always written by me, but frankly, sometimes there's something important I want to tell you about, and it becomes some CTA will be attached to it. Not always, but I wanted a email that if people read only that, they would at least get, something useful from me with no other agenda. They'll never pitch in the Sunday emails. That is a hard rule. And again, it's not because I'm afraid to sell. People are like, you sell every day. Hey, sometimes I want to be the friend at the bar and just have a conversation. And that's what the Sunday series is about. And so I'm going to launch a page where if you only want to get the Sunday series from me, you can do that. If you just get on the list and go to copychief.com and just get the 60-second sales hook, that's the easiest way to get on the list when you see the annoying pop-up. And I'd love, and I answer every response I get on the Sunday emails, because I'm writing something that I really thought a lot about and is meaningful. That moment I was talking about earlier, when it's like, I'm not going to send it if it didn't get good to me. And so anyway, I hope you enjoy those. And yes, Daisy, it was nice chatting with you. I'll always reply to your replies to the Sunday series. Okay. Let's have a blip. And by the way, does anybody have a best thing? You were here in the beginning when I described what we do on these best things. Was anybody inspired to come on camera and give me your best thing? Awesome. Please raise your hand if you do. And we're going to close out with some best things after we get a blip. So, yep, I see your hands. John, Michelle, John, excellent. All right, cool. Let's get my man, Rob Tillman, on here. And this is, I still have just trouble encapsulating who Rob is and what he does, because he's done so many things at such a high level. But as you'll see, he is a champion of people, and just a really, he has an incredible energy. Hi, Rob. Good to see you, my friend.
How is everybody? We're ready to have some fun on Cheap Chat. I feel kind of bad going after Justin. He's this super genius and I'm just an average guy.
Yeah, that's your trick. You just keep calling yourself average, but I just want to, I know you always have something to share. When we do our coaching calls, I'm just inclined to go to you at certain times on certain topics, because in the short time we've known each other, I just am always inspired when I'm hearing you speak. And so, not to put you on the spot, but kick us off, and based on what we've been talking about here, or whatever you're experiencing out in life, tell me what's on your mind.
Oh my goodness. There's a whole bunch of blips related to what we've been talking about in AI. And I think the easiest way to go into that blip today would be about, think of AI as GPS. And the way that you were kind of describing it, you think about people who were always that map person, hey, I have a map and I don't need GPS. I know where I'm going.
Right.
Then of course they all have to move into that place of understanding that they need GPS because it's helpful. However, it does not replace the human. And I want to share with everybody the way to put it in perspective with that GPS or the human element of it. So in GPS, you have to know where you're going. Has anybody ever taken GPS and you start going someplace and you see where it's taking you and you're like, no, I know a better route than that. It helps you, but it's not the only way to get there. And you know, well, no, there's a little bitty shortcut I can take here, or there's this other way I can go so I can see something that's beautiful. The human element of it helps us to understand what we really want. And to pull that away from it, an example I've used before is I call it the local guide. So you have a map, you have a GPS, and you have a local guide. And that's like the 3 different levels of it. So with the map, then it's just all of this information. It's really hard and it can be overwhelming because there's just too much that you're looking at, right? With the GPS, you know where you're going. And if you put in the right input, then it's going to tell you how to get there. A good way, not specifically the optimal way. However, there's this crazy thing that's a local guide. And what copywriters need to maintain is making sure they understand they're the local guide. And here's how that works. A local guide, you say, hey, someone comes to you and they say, I want Italian food. Well, the GPS would just say, here's the closest Italian food to you. The local guide and that human element of it, and the human element about knowing that we all have biases and we all have different quirks about us, what it does is it says, instead of just telling us where the first Italian restaurant is, it says, who's going with you? It asks, is this a date? It asks, are you taking your parents? It asks, are you gonna have a big group like your family to go with you? Are there gonna be kids? It asks all these questions to try to understand or that person asks all these questions to understand what type of experience you want. Because you don't want Italian food, you want a certain type of experience within Italian food. So if it's with your loved one, if it's a romantic date, then it says, hey, well, this is going to be the right atmosphere for that. And this will give you what you really want. If it's going to be your family, then what's going to happen there is going to say, hey, it's going to be a big family gathering where you need a place where you can get a private room so you all can laugh and have so much fun and enjoy yourself so that you aren't restricted by all the other people around. So that local guide and that human element, it actually brings in the beautiful thing that makes us human, which is bias. Bias helps us because we all have these different little bitty biases that help us to form the quirks which make us us and help us to connect with other people who have that quirkiness kind of like us.
Man, that's beautiful. And that's the blip. That's the blip about AI right there. Rob, that was fantastic. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on, sharing that.
Always my pleasure. Definitely a pleasure. A little bitty other blip. I had something I learned today. I mean, not today, but I learned this week. So for my this week, these right here. So think about this, everybody. I don't wear glasses. There are no lenses in this thing, but there's 2 other people who don't wear glasses, actually 3 of them, that are very important when we understand what they're doing with glasses. Think about, so I actually met with Todd Herman. He's the author of Alter Ego. He's the peak performance coach for Kobe Bryant, Ronaldo, like all these very, very high prestige people. So we had a mastermind little coaching session. And within that, we really dug into that alter ego. And the important part about that alter ego is people think that Superman is the alter ego, and he's not. The alter ego is Clark Kent. Superman has perfect vision. He has super strength. He can do all these crazy, incredible things. But what he does is he actually goes into this alter ego mindset to blend in with people. Martin Luther King Jr. had perfect 20/20 vision as well. But during some of his speeches, he put on glasses because he wanted to make sure people weren't intimidated by him. And even Todd Herman doesn't wear glasses. He puts them on because it makes him feel a certain way when he's doing that. What's really important in that is what these people are doing is their alter ego brings them down a little bit. It pulls them down, and it allows them to operate on the same plane as the people that they're dealing with. And whenever I'm dealing with copywriters and I'm giving them some guidance, I say, just remember this, you are Superman or Wonder Woman, because that's another person who puts on glasses and she does the same thing. She brings herself down to what the world has brought her to. Remember, you are the superhero. You have this incredible individualized talent, and the whole entire world has brought you down and made you withhold it. Unleash that talent.
Boom. Love it. Thank you, Rob. Always a pleasure. I hope this becomes a regular segment.
All right.
Always
Love
up for a
to.
blip. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thanks,
Talk soon.
everybody.
Fantastic. So glad to hear you got to spend some time with Todd. Alter Ego Effect was one of my favorite books over the last few years, and so useful for freelancers and creatives, and in both directions. I love what Rob said about we have this superpower, but we got to come back down and mingle with the people to do research and gain information. I remember Marcella Allison talking about when she was writing about incontinence, going to the diaper aisle, the adult diaper aisle in the grocery store to chat with other people buying those items. And it was the best research she could do on the topic. But also in the other direction, when we need to get on a prospect call and kind of sometimes need to become somebody else to show up for that call. And we can't be the shy, introspective writer necessarily. We just kind of need to show up. It's all business in that moment, right? And so, yeah, find a token, as Todd calls it, and connect to it. Todd talks about he's very inspired by Mr. Rogers. He changes his jacket or sweater or shirt when he comes in from work so that he can go into dad mode instantly. Pretty cool. John DeCamp. All right, 2 minutes on the clock, and let's see how well we follow the format here, and we'll get your best thing. Again, it's the best thing you learned, where you learned it, why it was particularly meaningful for you, and then an if-then statement at the end. Get John plugged in here just a second. There he is.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you, friend?
Cool. Got to put my glasses on, basically.
Perfect.
Actually, I usually wear these. These are blue blockers, so I usually wear them. What I learned recently, first of all, I'm brand new. Tomorrow's my birthday, so I'm considering joining Copy Chief, because I know a theme I've been hearing about a lot recently is this idea of community. Because what I find out is I sit by myself. I'm an info junkie. And then I get distracted. I don't know what, I have too much. So then I kind of analysis paralysis. But germane to that, something that I bought was this recent product. Anyway, here's what I learned from Aaron Winter, who said this is the best copywriting book ever. I don't know if it's backwards to you or not.
No, we see it, the monster at the end of this book. I used to read this to my kids all the time.
Yeah, it's great. And what it really is a great demonstration of is the idea of curiosity, using curiosity to pull a reader through the text that you're reading. And if you get the book, it's like $5 on Amazon or something like that. I don't want to spoil it, so you have to go buy the book. And I have no affiliate link there, so don't worry. But it really just, you can see elements of why you're getting pulled through the copy. So that was, something I just learned about recently for myself, and I thought it was kind of fun to share that. And it's actually appropriate to Justin because he had Grover in the background of his on his wall.
I saw that. Yeah,
it actually inspired me to say this. So
perfect, great connection, man. All right, so I'm gonna challenge you to end with an if-then statement. Get your copy chaps together.
So if you want to learn what is the best, what's the best way to instill curiosity into your copy, I would suggest you go pick up this book right away on Amazon.
Perfect. Excellent. Great job, John. Thanks for hopping on, man. It's great meeting you. Yes. Quit, get out of your head and come join us. And I want to hear you play that Martin sometime.
Oh, yeah.
All right, brother. Talk soon. All right. One of our regulars, always great to hear from Michelle Popp. If you don't know Michelle, you probably do, because she's very social and super smart and very caring person. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
How are you? Great to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
So I wanted to share something really cool I learned, obviously, in the NLP world, because that's where I spend so much of my time geeking out. And it's called nominalization. And so the way that in NLP we measure a noun is, can you put it in a wheelbarrow? And so what we see in language a lot is people do things like, my anxiety, my overwhelm, my fear. Like if we were to make it to the conversation earlier, my fear is stopping me from going out and getting more clients, right? But when you break that apart and say, what do you like? First of all, can you put fear in a wheelbarrow? No. So we've nominalized this, which means that it's now stuck. It can't move. We want a moving picture. So we swap that out and we ask, like, what are you afraid of? So now they have to open it up. They have to think through something and the images in the head start to move. So if they say, hey, I'm afraid that I can't write as fast as these AI bots and clients aren't going to be happy because I can't turn around copy the same afternoon, then we're getting somewhere and we can coach someone through that. So if you want to apply this to your copywriting, like if you're writing a section where you're giving someone the problem, you want to nominalize your fears keeping you stuck, your anxiety is stopping you from taking these actions. And when we're getting into a solution, then we're going to open that up and say, it's the fear of this that's causing blank, and here's the solution. And then that opens up a moving picture and gets them in motion and that much closer to buying.
That's beautiful. I love that. That is so practical and useful, and something we can always go to in our heads when we writing in a clear and granular enough way to bring people along the emotional journey.
Yep.
If then.
That was the if then. If you want to get them stuck in the pain section, yeah, I just throw it right in there.
I was already thinking about it and missed your damn. All right. Fantastic, Michelle. Thank you so much. We'll get you a clean clip of me not asking you to do what you already did.
All right.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See you, Kevin.
All right. We're right at the time right now, but we got 2 more people I'm going to go over. This is the fun part for me, because you know, I don't know what John or Daisy are going to say, and I know they're both going to be great. And so I'm just going to go in order, and I'm going to end with Daisy, and we're going to go to John now. I would love to do this in comedy. It's just like true open mic, but the audience doesn't necessarily know they were going to go on stage. And then they didn't sign up. They weren't preparing. And you just go ahead. Mike's yours. Hey, John.
Okay. Am I ready?
Yep.
Are you ready for me? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I got to say, this has been probably the most significant week of my copywriting career. And I have to give big thanks to the Copy Chief job board. I got 2 gigs this week from the Copy Chief job board.
Love it.
And a couple of observations I made as I was applying for these and as I got them, things that I already understood, but they were driven home. So I learned them from experience and taking action, not from a book per se. But one is relationships with other copywriters matter. We're in a small world in the direct response marketing world. And even if you don't have everything the job description is asking for, go for it and sell yourself later. So what happened was, on both of those gigs that I got, I didn't fit all the requirements, but I got the gigs anyway. And the relationship things and the small world, I'll kind of tie together. Early on in my career, I went to a Ted Nicholas copywriting boot camp in Tampa. And I met a guy named Sean McCool, who is a very well-respected direct response copywriter. We stayed in touch, connected on LinkedIn, and developed a relationship. After 11 years later, I posted something on LinkedIn. He responded and said, "Hey, let's talk." Well, for a project last year, he ended up becoming my copy chief.
Wow.
And it made my skills go forward exponentially in 1 month.
Yeah.
And then here's the small world part. The second gig I got this week is with a thing with a company in Clearwater, Florida called Mower Capital. And it's for this and so many other reasons, it's like St. Pete for you, it's like the hub of my copywriting world now, Kevin. But so I was mentioning, as I was talking to the guy interviewing me, how I had a copy chief last year named Sean McCool, who had worked for Porter Stansberry and this, that, and the other thing, and how having that copy chief was such a good thing for me. And that's part of the reason I was looking excited about this gig. And his eyes lit up and he said, "Oh, Sean McCool works for us now."
Wow. Didn't even know it. It just blew my mind on all fronts. Yeah, that's
because it's so easy. And when I started off, it was so, I thought, well, copywriters they're my competition. Why don't I want to connect with them? But some of the best things that have ever happened in my career have happened as a result of connecting with other copywriters.
I love it. So if you are in doubt about your ability to land a specific job, I recommend that you act with courage then and apply for it anyway. Fantastic. John, thank you for sharing that. It was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Very, very happy for you. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
I want to say one thing about that, and then we'll close with Daisy. You know what the key word to me and everything John just shared there is momentum. The whole time, what did he do? He went to that workshop. That's creating momentum. He's putting energy behind his goal to learn, to connect, and even had to change his philosophy once he understood better what our industry was like, which is a special thing about our industry. We are creators, not competitors. We're collaborators. We know this is a long game, and we need friends and allies and peers to support us. And we do that by supporting them. And it just works. It just works. So John, I really commend you for creating that momentum, because those are the things that a person like Sean McCool and other people notice and feel. And that's what's attractive and makes somebody the best candidate for any job. All right, Daisy, bring us home with your best thing. I'll give you a second to pop on here, and I'll remind you, stay tuned for when we announce February's Chief Chat, and we got some really other cool stuff coming up. We're actually planning a live event in March here in St. Pete, and so I'm gonna be telling you about that really soon in email as well. Hi, Daisy.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Fantastic. And you have a special guest.
I do. She joins me a lot, just right here. She's my little. So I actually, it's not super profound. It's kind of just volleying on what the last speaker said and what you're talking about. And so I just wanted to kind of bring it home with that, actually, because I was a member here for a while, for a long time when I first started copywriting. And then I kind of went all in with a client for the past year and just dropped all memberships and just was focusing, feeling like I didn't really necessarily need all that. It's kind of coming full circle now where I'm like realizing I've been in an abyss. If I do want to shake things up, it's like I've just kind of disconnected all of that. And it's just so interesting too, because I also am doing some things in the legal field, and AI has been really big there too. And so I've been just, I was inspired to connect back in with the membership not that long ago. And it's been so great, even just in such a small bit, just to have, to have the connections again, and to be able to feel like just more inspired, not so much in an abyss and in a black hole. And I realize that's something that I've needed. And so, and I'm excited to see where, getting back out there is going to take me. So, this wasn't something I learned necessarily by trial and error,
Right.
But I did just kind of want to put a plug in. This is by far the best membership as far as networking, copywriting, support. It's just all here, and I'm really happy to be back. And my if then statement is just, if you're feeling like you're in a little bit of an abyss, then you should definitely check out Copy Chief, because it really helps with just feeling like you're not in that tunnel or you're not writing alone. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Appreciate that. And what's your girl's name?
Elowyn, Elowyn.
Elowyn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love your name. You want to show me what you're drawing? Are you drawing something?
You see, she's in kindergarten this year, and she is just learning to write like crazy.
Wow,
That's
that's
her
impressive.
name.
That looks really good.
My fandom name, her name's Ava, and how to write it is ABA, and how to write my name is ELOWYN.
That's fantastic. Well, I hope you're having fun with it. You're doing great. She's
I
got
don't know how to write my name.
Awesome. I always say there's no such thing as time wasted writing, no matter what you're writing. So enjoy that. All right, Daisy, thank you so much. It was great seeing you. Welcome back. It's great to have you. See you inside. Bye, Elowyn. By the way, I never intend for these to be plugged for Copy Chief, but sometimes that happens, and I'm always touched and flattered by it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying it's not. I don't want you thinking like I ask people behind the scenes to do these. It's just a genuine best thing, and Copy Chief's often a best thing in people's lives, and I'm really proud of that. So thank you, everybody, for being here and hanging out with me. Stay tuned, and let's stay strong, have fun, and stay ahead of Rick and the others here as we go forward. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.